Oopsie. I made an oopsie. Okay, we're good. We're fine. We're fine. So did you guys go to the game last night? I was not able to go.
We did.
Wow,
We together.
imagine not going to the game.
Bro, I think I've missed like maybe 4 or 5 home games ever, so eat my ass. How about that?
He actually was at the Cincinnati game.
You've missed 1 out of 3 games at Geodis Park.
True, I'm shooting 66% currently.
That is awful for free throws, but Hall of Fame for baseball.
What do you guys... Okay, I saw Pharma tweet this a while back. What do you think will be the first non-soccer event in that stadium? They said not actual answers. I want your actual answers on what do you think it's going to be.
A concert.
Yeah.
The Twins.
So then it would be who? Because who's too big for Bridgestone, but too small for Nissan?
Yeah,
it's... in the Lion.
Well, it's already happened. So
Breland. Justice for Breland.
All right.
Oh, the draw starting.
Let's see. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and jump into some general NSC talk. We didn't structure this because we're trying to figure out what this is and what we're gonna do. We wanted to do this. Travis kind of brought it to me first. Oh no, John brought it to me first, and then Travis texted me like 10 minutes later. At the exact same time, basically. And we want to do this again. Personally, I want like a fresh restart. Like it started off as the Roadie sound check and then the Nashville sound check, and then it kind of fizzled off. And it's a good name. We could bring it back, but I feel like just mentally for my ADHD brain, if I have like a refresh, hard restart, I'll be a little more dedicated to it. So we're looking for names. Right now it's just unnamed NSC show. We'll come up with something. If that sticks, I'm going to be pissed. If we're unnamed NSC show, I'm going to be pissed. If that's what it stays as.
You know good and well the people that watch this will probably say, yeah, stick with that.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably what will happen. But we're going to try to be here, recapping games as the season goes on. And then once the off season hits, who knows what's going to happen. We may just not do it. We may talk about, bugs for an hour. Who knows? So yeah, for those who aren't super familiar that somehow stumble across episode 0, whether it's now or 2 years in the future, hi, I'm Brian Taylor. We'll go in order. Directly below me is...
Hi, I'm John.
And below John is the Bug King himself. I can't point down there, but...
Hey... It's like the Brady Bunch thing.
No.
I'm Travis, the Bug Eater.
Yeah,
so.
the Bug Man.
Oh, it's part of his brand now.
The Bug King himself, Travis Poole. So yeah, let's just dive in. Let's talk about, because we're a few weeks in. What were your first general thoughts on the stadium? What are your positives? And I guess 3 weeks in, what are your positive and negatives? Like atmosphere, food, parking, everything.
I mean, I hadn't been there before the first game, so that was all of the reactions all at once. I had seen pictures, obviously, so I knew what it looked like, and that wasn't awe-inspiring for me. My initial reaction is this fucking hill,
dude,
for the march.
Especially
it's bad.
If you park, hey Puff Daddy, thanks for the follow. If you park down by the soccer fields and dog park, getting up that staircase is hell.
Awful.
And then if you get up that staircase and then you happen to be in the top half of the 200s, you basically ran like a triathlon. It's insane. How steep it is nuts. But that's part of the charm. That's part of Hell on the Hill, right? That's what
Hell on the Hill.
I've seen Hell on the Hill. Hell on a Hill.
No.
I've seen 3 different versions of it.
Has to be the hill.
Yeah, it's the hill. Hell on the Hill.
The
hill. Is it the or the? What's the official vernacular here?
I
okay. Yes, Puff Daddy, that is the Travis. the Bug King himself. Travis, I was
if
telling
keep
John
bringing it up,
this.
he has to keep doing it.
I mean, look, I did it as a quick little revenge that I didn't think would actually happen, and I can't be at fault for what the rest of you maniacs do. Okay, I I just put something out there, and Travis knows this. He has had some memes go out of control.
Yeah.
I just put it out there, and it became something. So
Yeah.
much like
I was literally the day I didn't get on Twitter, I see this tweet. I'm like, what are you talking about? And everyone just rides with it.
I think I stewed on. I think because it started off with you calling me a Cincinnati fan, which is unacceptable. And I stewed on it for like a month, and then I was like, okay, I'll throw this out there. It's a funny little jab. We'll get a couple laughs, and then like a year later, you're eating a bug. So
I still have the sign, by the way. It's sitting right here.
Like he gave it to you.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
That's awesome. But yeah, my headphones. It's definitely hella steep, but it's part of the charm. Travis, did you have any like negatives? I guess before we get into the awe of the entire thing.
I mean, I rode with John with carpool,
Yeah.
and so I didn't really have to deal with the driving aspect of it. I will say, pricing's pretty expensive. I spent $12 for 2 bottles of water, and so that didn't feel too good. But I eat before I go to games, so I don't have to do that. And
Yeah.
I know yesterday it was really hot and humid. That's why I spent money for the waters.
Yeah.
Just because my wife was with me, so we need to stay hydrated. So
Yeah.
it was a sacrifice we had to make. But as far as parking, I mean, we park at lot 3, is it, John?
Mm-hmm.
And we're in and out pretty quickly. Like, that's not really we get in quickly, and when we leave, it's no hassle. And I understand some other parking spots might have that issue, but others might not.
I don't have a parking pass, but I've been able the first 2 games to get the where the dog lot or the dog park is and the soccer field, that lot down there. I've been able to get a parking pass for $20 both times, which is the same as what I paid at Nissan, like for individual games, right? And I split it amongst 3-4 people typically. It's not awful. Like I get that and you guys are probably a special case because John, you have a parking pass for one, but 2, like we usually get there a little earlier than like the casual fan who's rolling up or like getting there right at kickoff and then watching the game. So like getting in, super easy for me, right? Like I literally get there when the lot opens. Getting out, the only problem I've had was last game, or I guess like not last game, but last weekend's game. The cops were just routing traffic weird ways. Like they routed, leaving that lot, they routed us right towards the train tracks. And
was there a train?
I U-turned because I saw the lights turn on. And just went back the other way. So like there is another route, but like some of it just isn't coordinated as well as it could be, but it'll get better with time, and especially with that area being built up. Like they're still building like all that housing. There're going to be more lots down there. They're rebuilding the racetrack. And hopefully it just gets better over time and people kind of figure out what they have to do as we go on. But it's not as bad as like Fox 17 News will make you think, right?
I mean, it is just game 3 that we've hosted after last night.
Yeah.
And so you can't expect everything to be like perfect right away. It's going to get better. I mean, you see all the construction going on too around the stadium still. Once that's all figured, like said and done, like it's going to be fine. Like there's no need to freak out on Facebook.
Yeah.
What? No.
What?
Please continue freaking out on Facebook so the rest of us can use it for content.
I don't get on. So the only reason I get on Facebook is for work, and I don't even get on the Facebook app. I get on like the business manager. So I don't think I've opened Facebook in the past 2 years for any reason other than to just look at the shit show that is NSC Facebook essentially.
I like stirring the pot in that Facebook.
Oh, dude. I saw your tweet.
Never.
I saw your tweet yesterday, I think. That was like, NSC Facebook doesn't appreciate sarcasm. And I'm like, oh, God. Okay, what did he do?
I had got in there and said something about them complaining. I said, I'm taking my fandom to a real club that never complains.
FC Cincinnati. Yeah.
And everyone's like, a lot of people knew that I was, pushing buttons. Other people were like, you don't have to announce your departure on the way out and stuff like that. I was like, dude, chill. Like, it's not that serious.
So, just looking at chat here for a second. So, it looks like we're going to be playing Miami.
We're up.
Right?
No, not necessarily.
Aren't they in our group?
Those are both. They're both the hosts. Louisville's hosting. Orlando's hosting. Nashville at Louisville. Patty,
Yeah, we will be in
let's
a way
fucking
too.
go.
So it's Nashville at Louisville?
At Louisville.
Yeah, Nashville at Louisville.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Hey, Patty, I see you're in here. I love you, buddy. Whenever this game is, I'm going to give you a hug, and then I'm going to hate you for 90 minutes, but then you get a hug after. They do halftime hug time. That was a thing.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience that?
Yeah.
That was like a thing.
The man dressed as a pirate. Yeah.
Yeah, he was something. He was always probably intoxicated. I don't know. He was an interesting guy.
A cosplayer at a sporting event might not be sober.
Brian.
True. Do we know the day? Do we know like do they say when? Is it a Wednesday? Because that'll suck. Is it a Saturday?
It's gonna be a weekday.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm gonna have to take time off.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take off for that because I have not seen Louisville Stadium, and look, let's face it, out of all the people we played in USL, Louisville was the closest we had to a friendly rivalry, right? Like, there was definitely some jabs back and forth, but, like, we all fucking hated Cincinnati, and we all already hated Atlanta going in. Not as much as Cincinnati, and we didn't really consider them rivals because we never played the top team, but we knew it was coming. Louisville, it was a rivalry. We looked forward to it, but it wasn't, like, a hate thing, right? So I'm excited to go see their stuff, and I root for them when, obviously, we're not playing them anymore. But in this, fuck them, right?
Oh, shit.
So it's May 24th or May 25th we'll play.
Which is
a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
I was planning to be in Louisville that weekend anyway.
Okay. I'm going to have to text my boss after this. Damn it. Okay.
Because that is Tulsa at Lou City, and I got to go see our boy Brad.
Dude, are you going to be up there already?
Potentially.
Like the weekend
I hadn't
before
put
or
anything in. It's the Tulsa game is the 28th, I believe.
Okay.
So that might just be hit some distilleries, make a little vacation of it.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm excited to see it, man. I'm not writing off Louisville. I don't write off any USL teams in this wacky ass tournament.
That's a fact, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see them again. I honestly miss playing against them. And
yeah,
their fans are cool. I mean, so
it was a good rivalry. Like I'm not against it. Oh, my headphones almost pulled out. Oh shit! Advice giver dropping a booyah. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, man.
Brian's headphone pull-out game week.
Oh. But yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'm glad we kind of got to react to this live. It's gonna be a fun game. I'm excited to see how many Nashville fans go. That's like what, a 2-hour drive, 3-hour drive, 2? It's not far.
That's like 2-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do it. But yeah, okay. So backtracking, going back to the stadium. I just kind of want to lump this in with recapping the first 2 games as well. The atmosphere and just the vibe of that stadium is kind of what I personally have always been dreaming of as a fan. And I've said this to multiple people, and it's like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, I know I'm a homer. Like, I get it. I spread NSC propaganda like 8 hours of every single day, right? That's just what I do on Twitter for fun. But I sincerely mean when I say that first game and even parts of the second game were the loudest, wildest, just like fan experiences I've ever been a part of. And I get it, like, playoff Titans games always going to be louder because there's more people. But like the energy that is brought into that building is unreal.
Oh yeah, the atmosphere is just another level.
So how I have never been to a Titans game, so I can't
seriously
compare them from firsthand knowledge. But how would you compare like the coordination of the back line versus just the raw loudness of a football stadium?
Yeah, so I love the Titans. They were my first sports love. Like, I've always loved the Titans, like, since I can remember liking sports, right? Since they really moved to Nashville. it is an experience. Like when Derrick Henry breaks off a run, or any running back we've had in the past, or if any big play happens, it is like 45 seconds of like pure energy, like just like explosive loudness, right? Where the Titans get it wrong, and I've said this for years, is that there is no organized support whatsoever. Like the Preds have a great atmosphere because of cell block 303. It's not as coordinated as the back line, but there is a group that coordinates, sets up, and like kind of runs things when it comes to chance and just atmosphere. The Titans don't have that. So the extent of your sound of your atmosphere is reaction to big plays, and then maybe once or twice a game they'll play like a defense prompt on screen, and like half of the stadium might do it. So I don't want to say it's bad, because it's not, but you don't get the same sort of like community, like this is like everyone's pouring support into this vibes at Titans games. But it is louder. I'll give them that.
Okay.
But yeah, like, and that's one of the things I love about soccer in general. It's just like it's pure just passion pushed into supporting the team for like 90 minutes every weekend. And having this stadium and having this kind of mecca for Nashville, Tennessee, parts of the Southeast that are outside of Tennessee soccer, is kind of what I always dreamed of. And having that awning that bounces sound back down, like I cannot wait until we get to the point where we can host a playoff game, because it'll be the wildest atmosphere any of us have even seen.
Well, a lot of people that I've talked to, when they compare like the Titans atmosphere to a soccer, like in a soccer stadium, like soccer playing there, soccer is more like a huge party.
Yeah,
everyone's vibing together, while you got family section that's sitting down, but they usually do the claps and stuff like we do in corners and stuff. But in football, you have like maybe half the family sitting down watching, just like you get some older people there watching. They're sitting on there. They're not really yelling or doing anything. You got some fans who jump up every little thing that happens. It feels like more often than not with most of the soccer fans that are there, they're all doing things together, it seems like. And you can hear it throughout the stadium. Yeah. So I think that's what differentiates from Titans football games from NSC soccer games. And that's why all these people are tweeting, I've never been a soccer fan, but I went and it's an absolutely insane atmosphere, because it's completely different than what you see in normal American sports,
Yeah, and that's exact, and we've seen this play out, this exact situation play out with the Preds. When the Preds moved here, there was amateur hockey teams in the past, but like no one knew anything about hockey. But Cell Block 303 created that atmosphere, created like what they called a college football-esque atmosphere. And it got people hooked on hockey, and it was a little bit of a slower grind for them, but we were a smaller city then. But over time, they became this massive thing, and I laugh anytime we see people dropping into my mentions, your mentions, whatever, about Nashville soccer's not going to make it, or they're going to close it and make a bigger racetrack, or whatever the hell's the thing going on this week.
Whatever prediction they're making.
Yeah. I love it. It's like, you're stupid. You're just dumb. Like, you're just dumb. Like, and I know, and like, we all get it, because we're all part of the meme machine here. We all get it. Like, some of them are just poking to poke, and they want to go back and forth, and it's all part of the fun. I get it. But then you can tell when they're just kind of dumb, or just like they just don't understand. And all I gotta say at this point is like I kind of have a policy now where it's like I'm just gonna 90% of the time just let it go and just prove them wrong, because screw it, right?
Ooh,
yeah.
El Trafico is in the Open Cup. Galaxy versus LAFC.
Oh, good. One of them has to lose.
They're both picked to be favorites in the cup, so
I don't like either team at all, but
I just think it's entertaining to watch.
If I had to choose between the two, right, I like LAFC's branding more, so I'm gonna choose them. So
I'm going with OGs. I gotta go with Galaxy on that one.
No, Can it be a draw and they go to penalties and it goes so long that they just eliminate both teams?
You're not allowed to play anymore.
Yeah, we're over this. Just stop playing, guys. Just go home. Call Cal United Strikers back and let them go through.
I absolutely have an intense distaste for LAFC, but the rumor of the Galaxy not letting us wear gold and now we're highlighter,
dude.
I'm never gonna let that
go.
Even if
I won't let it go.
False, it will be like headcanon,
like
as the fandoms say.
The what's the official term? The electric gold.
Electric gold.
It's grown on me. I don't hate it, right? Like the jerseys look good, the uniforms look good. I would have loved to keep the same like actual gold. And it was like once we couldn't have that because allegedly the Galaxy wouldn't let us. We couldn't go, a little bit lighter because then it'd be exactly the crew. So then we had to go a little lighter than that, and here we are.
Mm-hmm.
And now the crew hates us because we stole their colors because they own yellow. I don't know. Okay.
They also own Ohio, and Massive. I'm content to let them have it.
They own the word massive.
They can have Ohio. They can't have massive. That's ours. They stole that from us.
I conquered it.
Yeah.
They stole it from us.
We're gonna use massive until they stop talking about it, and then we're gonna graduate to like gargantuan because we've evolved past the need for massive.
We're bigger than them.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So let's go over, I guess, the actual play on the field for the first couple games, and after that we'll get into Open Cup. What is your what basically what's pissing you off this year? There's been a lot of good, there's been a lot of bad, but what is like the one sticking point for you that if we fix this, we would be in the top 2 or 3 teams in the league? Or do you have one? Because I see people complaining all the time about all this sort of stuff, and I want to see if you guys have one. I'm trying to think of one of myself, honestly.
That's a tough one.
I think the rigidity of Gary going 5 at the back.
Yeah.
Because we talked about I don't remember if it was in the car, Travis, or if it was when I was with the assembly folks at during the game itself. Putting another person in the back line takes somebody out of midfield.
Yeah.
Or potentially out of the attack, but he would play another midfielder. And I mean, they lost the midfield before the game started last night. Like you could tell.
Yeah.
I will say when Dax came in though, he kind of secured it more than what we had.
Well, I mean, it was by the time Dax came on, they were functionally a 4 at the back, weren't they?
Well,
because when Eric Miller came in for Jack, yeah.
Once that happened, yeah.
That was a back 4.
With Will in, no, they say, hey, go have at it, and
the attacking fluidity was there after they put on more attackers.
And I will say having Handwala Buana come in, and he's more of a wingback, but he's more. I feel like he contributes more offensively than what you can say Alex Mueller. Alex has done phenomenal this season. I feel like a huge step up.
But he also contributes less defensively, as you can tell by the time he 2-footed that guy last night.
Yeah, Handwala is not a defensive player. You can tell that. But you're talking about offensively. We saw more fluidity because he's more of an offensive player. As if Alex, he's more of a pure right wing back rather than a right wing or a right back.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't offer more offensively, but he's more sound defensively. But when Handwala came on, he's a lot better going forward. You saw that with some of the runs he was making and the passes he was attempting, and the almost one-time shot he should have taken rather than
them. Well, I still think the cutback was the right play there. I will die on that hill.
We got one person in chat saying it feels like we don't have a true RB. He's comfortable with post Alistair. Mule's better as a right wing back, and Miller isn't quite there.
100% agree.
Yeah, I'm patiently waiting. I still think Shaq Moore's coming. I think he's coming. It'll be the summer window. We all know how summer window sightings work with Gary Smith. You got to ease him in. I don't think he'll be as long of an ease-in process as Jonder was, or as whatever the hell's going on with Loba. And I think that'll help a little bit. Where I'm upset, not upset, but what I think needs to be fixed, and to a certain extent I get it, is like you can use subs before the 85th minute. Like, stop murdering your players. Like
he runs them into the ground, and half our people are over 30.
Yeah.
So
and like to a certain point, I get it, right? Like this first stretch of the season was so vitally important to come out of okay, and to come out, you know, what was his amount of points to do a jig? It was 8. Was it 8? Yeah. To get at least 8 points out of the stretch of home or away games was so important. I sort of understand it, right? If this stays a trend throughout the entire season, I'm going to be upset because there's a perceived depth there that we all think we have, right? A lot of us are starting to get a little frustrated with Ake Loba, but
Stop it.
Starting to.
Stop it.
I'm not giving up on him. I'm just saying a lot of us are starting to. Look, I was on the Jonder train until today, right? I'm still on the Jonder train, so I'll be on the Loba train for a while. But what I'm getting at is there's a perceived depth that we have. Like we saw last night, we saw Zubac, play out of his mind. Like he came on the field and changed the game. We've seen Hawkinson come on the field and change the game. We saw him go off on Toronto last year. We've seen Taylor come in. Sorry, go ahead.
Looked perfectly fine. Like,
yeah,
I had no issue with him. I liked what I saw from him, honestly, except for the 2-foot tackle. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
because most of the time he was going forward and getting something going. And like you said, Zubac, dude, I love that guy. He was fighting for every ball.
Yeah,
he had a hunger about him. You could tell when he came onto the field, like he wanted it.
And that's what a lot of these guys have. These like subs that rarely play, they have that because they never get on the field. But when they do get on the field, it's for the last 5 minutes, either to chase a game that we're down by 2 or to finish a game that we're up by 2. And he just needs to use the subs better. I'm not a coach, but it just doesn't seem right to me, you know?
Yeah.
I think I saw a chart. Nashville uses the least amount of subs, and it also wastes the longest time to sub.
Yeah.
It's like it's us in Philadelphia. And I saw this. I think Ben may have tweeted it or something like that. But I saw that and I was like, that's the one gripe I have. Honestly, you said what's one gripe we fix and we become a top 3 team. You can't convince me that we're not a top 3 team already.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We went through our toughest road stretch, 8 straight road games, and we're top 6 right now. We only have 2 home games to our name, and we're top 6. What's to say that we're not already there? But I will say we can improve. We're not perfect, obviously. I say fix the subbing situation. Mukhtar has the most shots on target in the league. He has 2 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he can find his finishing, we're gonna be fine. And with Ake Loba, I thought he played a good game yesterday.
I think we had a good second half. At the first half,
I will say that. I will say when I say game, I mean second half.
Yeah.
I rewatched the game today when I was working. Second half, he was closing down on the defenders when they get the ball, when they do pass the ball back. He was closing down on them. He was winning balls that you didn't see him win in the first half. First half, he was giving up on balls. He throw his hands up, whatever, like getting frustrated. I guarantee Gary Smith laid into that kid because he's only like 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I guarantee he got laid into, and then he switched it on, and he earned a penalty for us.
Yeah.
So it's like he turned it on second half. I say he had a good game. I'll say he had a really good second half to make it have like, okay, we saw the potential there, and you saw what him and Hani were trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think personally, with more minutes, he gets better chemistry with Hani. I mean, see the chemistry that Hani and CJ have. And Loba's probably just as athletic as CJ.
Yeah.
I mean, once they get that chemistry down, which more minutes is how you get that, you might see Ake finally break through.
Yeah, I think obviously, however long this Open Cup run is, I think you're going to see a lot of minutes from Loba, right? I want to see, and I almost don't want to see Mukhtar in the starting lineup, but if he can handle it, not that he won't perform, I just don't want his legs to give out at the end of the season. But
well, I think with Leal out,
yeah,
he has no other option.
Yeah, I think I tweeted this yesterday. I'm nowhere close to giving up on Loba. Like I've seen people just already kind of giving up on him. I'm nowhere close to giving up on him, but I will say if I'm just comparing Loba's entire season and tail end of last season to Zubac's one game, I'm going Zubac, right? I just, but you can't do that because there's fluke games. It's a cup. It's weird. Whatever. I don't know. I think if
my rebuttal to that though is, I mean, Zubac was put in a better position to succeed because he didn't have to go up and win everything. There's not as much pressure on him because we
didn't spend $7 million on him.
Well, he had Hani for a lot of the time he was out there, and he had CJ.
Yeah,
like if you put Hani and CJ with Ake, it's a completely different.
He thrives.
Completely different. Like that's the drum I've been beating in Discord even before yesterday. Is Loba is a chemistry player and he's a confidence player.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have those right now.
Yeah, he's lacking both right now.
And if he gets those, then he can absolutely be a problem.
And we've all seen it, and we all saw it from the moment he got here last year, is there's stuff that Ake Loba can do and has done on the field that no one else on our team can do. Like, there was a turn, it was either the first, I think it was the first game. What was the game that he came in, like...
He settled the ball on a touch, and as he touched, he turned a defender. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It was the cleanest thing I've ever seen.
It was either the first or second game this year, but it was so clean. And if you asked me who else on our team could do that, I would be like, maybe Hani, maybe. Yeah. But he has the potential to be so good. It's just incredibly frustrating that we can't see it. That he comes in garbage time, right? And that the goal he scored last year against Cincinnati was in garbage time. And that
someone mentioned in the comments how Loba seems very different kind of striker than CJ. And I think I mentioned this to John, to you last night on the way home. Look at the strikers we've signed. CJ Sepong. He's tall, has some speed. He can get up. Till Bunbury, tall, maybe not as fast, but he can get up. He can win balls in the air. Cadiz, he was tall. You may not think he's fast, but he outruns a lot of people because of his height.
Yeah.
Who else? We go back to USL. Tucker Hume wasn't fast, but he was tall and he win headers.
Yeah.
Look at the strikers we signed throughout history with Gary Smith that are usually target men, right? Yeah. Loba isn't a target guy, and that's why people have said Gary sees Loba as a replacement for Leal or a replacement for Mukhtar. He doesn't see him as an out-and-out striker. Mm-hmm. And I think what we saw from last game, like they said in the comments, we had same formation, same game plan, except Loba was in for CJ. And it doesn't necessarily... I mean, Loba can get up, but he's not really a target man. And we were trying to play the same way we did with CJ, and it just wasn't working. Because CJ gets up, wins that header, or he gets up, settles it against a strong center back because of his size. He can hold it up. Loba's not necessarily that guy. I mean, he also was one of the most fouled people in the game for us because he'd get the ball and the center backs just clatter into him. He'd fall down instantly. But we're expecting...
So in a perfect world where Shaq Moore comes in and Gary is comfortable swapping to a back four, say he does like a 4-2-3-1 with the 2D mids because he's still Gary and that's
double pivot's not changing for him.
But if he did a front four of CJ, Ake, Hani, and Randall, you're gonna miss the run till your legs fall off of Alex Mouille, but you're also going to create so much with the four of them.
And that's
definitely.
And that's at the core of my frustration about the lack of subs, because you can do all this, multiple different things within the same game. Like, we have so many possible combinations to where we can change form entirely and put on a couple people and it's 100% different. But we can't do that if we're making subs at the 80th minute when everyone's dead. Like the first game, Sapong, the moment they blew the whistle, he just laid on the ground for like
he was done.
2-3 minutes.
He was out. We were calling it the 65th minute. CJ's gassed.
Yeah.
I love CJ, but at some point you can look at someone and go, he's tired. He's done right now. Like get someone in for him. I mean, he starts most of our games. He's still gonna be 34 in December. As a striker, you're pushing that age right there, and he's played in this league for a hot minute, and he's, in other teams, he wasn't necessarily the go-to guy getting 90 minutes a game. And so he comes here, automatically get 90 minutes a game. He may not have the same stamina he had when he was younger. Yeah. And then you have a 24-year-old guy you spent $7 million on, or Zubac. He's 23, 24 as well. You have two very young strikers you can sub on for him. And I think Zubac has shown he can get the job done if you put him in there with Liao or Mukhtar or even Loba. Loba, like what I've seen, like the 1-2s and stuff with him and Liao, when he comes on, they understand each other. And I think that also has to do with off the field stuff because I know he only talks to like Godoy and Nunga and Liao, so he has that kind of friendship with them. But he speaks like French and Spanish only. He doesn't speak any English. So
the more I think about the Loba signing, is the more I'm like, they targeted this guy to build a team around, and they weren't able to sign him to build that team around, so they went another direction, and then ended up getting him anyway. And now they're kind of unsure what to do, right? Because when they signed him, they said they've been chasing him for since they started the MLS project, essentially. That I'm sure they were trying to get, him and Hani, and we're gonna build a team, maybe around him, and they pivoted to Hani, right? It just seems like he has no place on this team. It seems like, and it's not that they can't make a place for him. It's just it seems like we were built a different way. And that was a signing made by the front office without necessarily Gary in mind.
That's exactly how I feel. I look at it like you look at what type of players Gary likes, and I just can't look at Loba and go, Gary was 100% involved, and he 100%. Well, he might have been included, obviously.
Well, I'm sure he signed off on me he's a skilled player, whatever. Yeah. But it's not. I
don't think Gary wrote his name down I want him. Yeah. Necessarily, because I mean, if that's the case, he'd be seeing a lot more of him rather than the 80th minute he gets subbed on. Yeah. And a lot of people say maybe he's not proving it in practice. That may be the case, but I also know Gary. He has his go-to guys. Yeah, he likes the MLS veterans. If that's not clear enough of the people we've signed, and it's also you look what happened with Pinheiro. Yeah, Lolly saw 10 minutes total. Yeah, maybe under us, leaves us, goes to Chile. Well, he's on loan to Chile, and he's balling out. His first game, he had a brace or something like that.
Yeah, I think with Pinheiro, it was also a little bit of okay, he's clearly Randall's backup, and when are we going to get him in, right?
I think he struggled adapting to. He's 21?
Yeah, and then 22. he was just so young, and he came to another country that he's 100% not used to. He's not from here, and he had that episode where he was very depressed, and he posted about it on Instagram, and I think half of it was his own kind of. I mean, he's a young dude, right? He's 20, 21, growing up and being out on his own and being away from family and kind of getting used to his environment. Because, hell, I don't know about you guys. I went through that when I went to college. It was weird. It took me a while to kind of get used to my surroundings, and I was, 45 minutes from home.
Most college kids have that, man, what am I doing?
Yeah. So I think it was a combination of that plus the frustration of not playing because he was sitting behind people who were just on, right? I would like to see him come back. I doubt he will. Even if he gets an opportunity to, he'd probably ask for a transfer. But who knows? We may see him again. John, do you have anything else? Any changes you want to see or additions or?
Rotation. I mean, we've talked about earlier, we're going to end up running these people into the ground, and we haven't even hit summer yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
John, we talked about what lineup you expected to see in the Open Cup.
Yeah.
Like, we expected probably more than 3 changes, and what happened? It was like 3 changes.
It was like maybe 3.
We're like, what? Okay, these guys are gonna be dead. I mean, you saw Hani pull up. I think he was cramping.
Yeah.
You saw Nunga literally stop mid play. Like, you knew he wasn't faking. He just dropped, and he went down. Who did? Someone else go down? Only them 2 of our team went down.
Not memorably, yeah.
So they went down. Sean Davis came off from McCarty. Godoy's obviously out. Liao's out. So, I mean, we aren't limited in the midfield with how much we can rotate.
I'm very intimidated with what the lineup's going to look like Saturday in Houston because
the Heat and
they played first string yesterday. Essentially,
he's gonna have to make some change ups. Here, we'll talk about this again on Monday or Tuesday whenever we stream this unnamed NSC show again. But I feel like he has to have a plan going into Houston, right? Like I don't think he would have started Hani if he was gonna give Hani a full 90 in Houston. And if he does, I'll be shocked. And the only way I can think of him doing that is Hani going to him and being like, "I want to go. Let me on the field." Otherwise, I think it's somewhat irresponsible.
He went 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Before he pulled up. Like, he didn't complete the game because of exhaustion, basically.
Yeah.
Well, and they were hard minutes too. Like he
was booking it. Like, he did not let up. So I don't see how he starts against Houston.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I hope he doesn't, to be completely honest.
We might run a 3 midfield with a Nunga, McCarty, Davis or something like that. I don't know. Well, maybe you trust Hawkinson to slide in there for Mukhtar.
Honestly, I'd be okay with starting Hawkinson and then have Hani come on if you want to do it at halftime, do it at halftime if we're down. If you want to do it in the 60th minute, do it in the 60th. I'm okay with Hani getting minutes next game. But if he starts and isn't subbed off by like the 50th or 60th, I'm going to be concerned about his health. I just am.
Yeah.
Because it's hot.
Especially with the emotional game next week of Alistair coming back.
Yeah.
Like we want to win that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the even more emotional game of Atlanta again that Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I think Gary went for it, was he wanted a statement win. He wanted to be like, we're going to beat Atlanta, our rival, our first Open Cup in MLS. We're getting through this round at least.
I think he wants to beat Atlanta twice this season.
Yeah.
Because
not only does that like send a message to the league, look at the fans.
So mad. They're so mad.
Look at the fans that live here who are Atlanta fans.
Yeah.
You go out there. They haven't beaten us since 2020, by the way.
Yeah.
You go out there, you sweep them.
For them.
you go out there and you sweep them in a season, because we only play them twice, I think. Open Cup and did we play them again this season? I don't know.
No,
it's just the next game and that's it, I think.
So if you beat them twice in this season, because people swap. They do. You're gonna have these people who living here who are Atlanta fans.
Oh,
they're going through a rough time.
Dude, did you see the video of the 2 Atlanta fans on one of the sideline sections where the dude was holding up his like 2018 champion scarf? Yeah. There was it was another Atlanta fan in the comments that said the guy that was yelling at the Atlanta fan before that video, he was wearing an Atlanta Braves jersey and took it off because he started supporting NSC.
Okay.
So solid. It's happening.
I mean, I saw Atlanta fans buying merch, Nashville merch.
Yeah.
They had Atlanta jerseys on. They were in the team store buying a Nashville jersey or buying a Nashville hat. I was like, huh. Okay. That was weird.
I think this rivalry started off as like, we're close to each other, but it's not really a thing. Over time, there's been incidents and games and moments that have definitely heated this thing up. and I'm interested to see what happens on the next Saturday or the Saturday after. And I'm interested to see what happens when we inevitably move back to the East. I think that rivalry is going to heat up a lot, and with Cincinnati unfortunately getting better, that one might start heating up too. Who knows?
Yeah. So Travis and I talked about this on the drive back yesterday because they put 24 down to one lane and we didn't get home for like an hour and 45 minutes.
That was awful, dude.
It was a nightmare. So who would you say NSC's top 3 rivals are, given that 2 of them are obviously Atlanta and Cincinnati? Like, who is the third one?
Atlanta, Cincinnati, and then if you'd have asked me at the end of the first season, I would have said Miami. I still don't like Miami. I super don't like them.
But I also don't care. Like, they're not relevant.
I didn't like Miami solely for the fact that when we came in, Miami was going to go to the Club World Cup and win everything, right? Like, it was going to be the best team to ever exist. They're signing both Messi and Ronaldo. I think he actually did offer to sign Messi at some point. And Nashville, there was videos of like, where's Nashville SC? We're not hearing anything about them. MLS themselves never said anything about us. There was people saying like, do you even have any fans? Blah blah blah. And I think because of that, that situation coming into the league, I will always hate Miami. But now, if I sat back and thought about it, I mean, based off of Twitter beef, maybe Orlando.
Orlando.
Twitter beef with Orlando. That's fun.
I mean, same thing for Columbus. What I think it will inevitably end up being is Charlotte. Not yet, but or St. Louis. Whenever we get into next season, I'll have a better answer on that. But right now, it's just Atlanta and Cincinnati for me, and then the rest of them are whatever.
I could see St. Louis. I hadn't thought about them, actually. The trick for them is if MLS doesn't make some type of like Cascadia competition, like how it's Seattle, Vancouver, Portland, they all have their little trophy, whatever. Or like the Texas teams, they have Copa de Tejas. Like, if there's not something with Kansas City, St. Louis, and Chicago, they did something wrong. Yeah.
I think for us, the natural rival is going to be Atlanta, probably Charlotte, just based off proximity. Cincinnati, there's too much history going back to USL that we will always hate Cincinnati. That, for me personally, no matter what the public opinion shifts to, Cincinnati's always the top rival for me. And then Atlanta too as well. But
we did have a special, like an honorable mention in the car last night for a NYCFC.
Yeah, that was just because of that one sketchy game, and then their supporters or something that I'm not gonna say on Twitch. But it rhymes with Bossies. Yahtzees, yeah. Look, it's true. Google it. Not all of them, but there are groups. And then I'm gonna throw the exact opposite into the ring. I think we have this weird sort of friendship with Portland that I am all about. I am 100% about. It's not a rivalry. Like, I look forward to that game. I look forward to playing them. But I mean, that first season, I guess our second game was in Portland.
Yeah.
Nicest fans on an away day I've experienced. It's the Timbers Army. They were loud and like they had chants that were like shitting on us during the game, but it's a soccer game, it's gonna happen. But like when we're at the bars, when we're around town, when at halftime people came up to us, asked about us, they're surprised to see we had like 20-30 people there. And then the tornadoes happened, and they were so charitable to us. They had that campaign to donate ticket sales to help us. They had a banner that said like Rose City loves Music City. All this stuff, it's just, and there's so many people that follow Has Been and follow the Roadies and follow me personally that are from that weird sort of relationship that's been built. So I'm gonna throw that in there too. It's a nice rivalry. It's like I look forward to that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, cool. So let's kind of circle back, start to wrap this up. But I want to kind of, what do you boys think? Because I want to get a little bit of strategy, meaning a little behind the scenes.
Okay.
What do you boys think for how often we do this? When do you want to do it? And do you have any thoughts on the name yet? Because I am at a loss. And same goes for chat. If you have any ideas for the name in chat, please drop them.
Yeah. I think after every game is too much because there are going to be enough 2-game weeks.
Yeah.
Where that's somewhat unsustainable. I think weekly has potential, but I also have like very regimented scheduled weeks.
Yeah.
Like I do the same things on every night of every week. And I love that. So I could absolutely fit that into fit it into a night I already have accounted for something else.
I'm down to do it weekly. What I will say is my work schedule is weird, and with this being live, I can't set an exact time that I'll hit every single month, right? What?
Nothing. Definitely not a Twitter reply that might be roasting you.
Oh my god. Well, time to go open Twitter.
Oh man, Taylor's the best.
Oh no! What did Taylor say? Oh, it was your KD thing, wasn't it?
Yep.
God dang it.
Yep.
I've been on that Fortnite game recently, man.
It's so good.
It's so good, dude.
So
Like
good.
no building.
Fortnite no build made me want to play Fortnite every single night. Like not even kidding.
So when we sign off here, we're playing Fort. Is that what we're saying?
Bro, I got a full squad waiting on me. I got 3 texts during the show.
Rude.
Too good for me. Huh?
I do. Friends, fuck you. John said right now to play with him. Okay, but yeah, I'm down. I'm down to do this weekly. This upcoming Monday, I have like a photo shoot thing I have to go to for work. But most Mondays I'm free. So if you guys can do Monday, I'm good.
I'm down for anything during the week. I'm open.
Cool. I do have one idea because I don't know. I don't love the idea of putting the whole show as the meme machine because meme machine, I feel like we have to create memes during the show. And that's a lot of pressure on me creatively.
No, it's not even necessarily the case. It's that, and this is kind of how it's been forever. Because like NSC came from Twitter. Like that's literally where the club started when it was NFC, right? And there's so many inside jokes and memes and whatever that stem from that we could have a conversation on here. We can go off on a tangent about whatever. And it just kind of takes off, right? That's where the Lazy River thing happened. Is it took off on a pod? It's a mention on a podcast, and it took off. I don't think it's necessarily putting pressure on us to have a meme focused show. I just think it's a term that is prevalent enough within our already whatever the audience we have that it could stick. But I'm not like super married to it. I'm counter arguing,
I will say though, I'm a big fan of alliteration in terms of content creation. And the idea of the meme machine moment of the match is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
So have a
match. The meme machine moment was the offsides call.
Oh God. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like we have to talk about that at some
point. Okay, let's talk about it now. Fuck you, ref. Okay, I'm done. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. That we did it. We talked about it. All right, let's move on.
Oh, man.
I would like to also say I'm disappointed we never got a green team sucks chant going.
We
I
got the
tried
red
my
team
best.
stuck chant.
Yeah.
That echoed throughout this thing, but we didn't do
That
the
is-
green team.
How did, speaking of echoing in the stadium, Brian, I assume you watched on ESPN Plus?
Yep.
How did we sound?
You could tell. So very good, like extremely good, and I'm guessing because the upper bowl is empty, there was a lot of sound bouncing off of seats, off of roof. You know, keeping
Yeah.
that sound in even more. Because you could tell at points during the match they kind of started to fuck with the audio a little bit because it was a little too loud, which is a good sign. But like especially after the second goal, it was like deafening loud. Like it was insanely loud. And all 3 games have been like that. Like I'm so happy with how that's the acoustics of that stadium, man.
Yeah, looking back, I was watching on my
What's up, Pants
ESPN
Thief? Sorry, someone in chat.
No, you're good. Well, looking back on ESPN, like I was rewatching it, and we sounded fine. Like, and honestly, I think we're the second highest attended U.S. Open Cup match this season so far.
Yep.
RSL had like 19,000 when they lost to Hailstorm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
ironic.
that's embarrassing. But so we had the second highest, and we sounded pretty good. And Dax, a veteran who's played in U.S. Open Cups countless times, said, like, you never see this because Open Cups in on weekdays.
Yeah.
The tickets usually aren't included in the season ticket package, and so a lot of people don't really want to spend that extra money after buying a season ticket.
Yeah.
And then they also don't advertise the game until like 2 days out from the game. You saw a big push from Nashville 2 days before the game started. Like, hey, by the way, we have these tickets. It's like
You saw a
they don't
big
really-
push the day of the game. They tweeted out
Yeah.
the ticket link like 6 times.
Yeah, it's like they don't really care, but at the same time, the trophy's worth something. You get into CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah.
The prize money is almost up there with that of MLS Cup. Like,
Yeah.
granted, it's not a lot of money.
I think if we get
but-
past this game and we offer to host the next one, if we get to it,
We don't.
we don't. Are we not hosting
No,
anymore?
we
no matter
will.
what?
We will go to the winner of Orlando, Miami.
Ah, fuck it. Okay.
Regardless, is what I
Um,
saw in Discord.
Got
I
it.
think because we got the second game or the 4th seed or whatever.
Yeah. Well, if we end up at some point in the rest of this tournament, if we stay in it hosting, they'll make a much bigger deal out of it. I think as we get further in, it'll get bigger and bigger.
Oh, definitely. Closer to time,
Yeah.
they'll start pushing it like crazy.
Yeah. But cool. Awesome. Well, hey, I want to wrap this up here because I'm going to make some dinner real quick, but I am down to do this again soon, boys.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Right.
I'm
Well-
free on all day weekend, so.
Everyone that showed up in chat, thank you. You're the best. I will be posting these to YouTube. I'll upload that tonight. I might make an independent YouTube channel just for this. But we're going to try to do this more regularly. We're going to try to make it easier for you guys to get to. And at some point, we will probably put the audio out in just an audio format as well with it being edited. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will catch you Monday, ?
Also, anyone who has not been here for most of the show at the beginning or end, where we requested your input on a potential show and or segment name, we would absolutely appreciate your input
Oh,
in chat, on Twitter.
Travis,
go ahead,
sorry. Travis, I know you want to make a show Twitter, like, for this. Just do it and have it be unnamed NSC show, and then we'll change it when we come up with a name.
I need another email address I can make up real quick.
Yeah, literally just make one on Google and make a, like, unnamed NSC show Twitter. Go fucking nuts, and we'll just change the name whenever we come up with something.
Why are you adding us, John?
Just that's where people could drop off any ideas they have.
okay.
Other than
I
if
think
we're
trying to
not
make it-
live, dropping them off in chat, you could tag us in anything. You can DM any of us. Just let us know
No, don't
what you're
DM me.
thinking,
I'll fight
something
you.
you want us to talk about.
I'll spit on you if you DM me. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
it's a kink to some, so watch it.
I mean, if they're into it. Okay.
I'd say Travis is DMing you right now, actually.
Oh. Okay.
How? My
I'm gonna end
hands
the
over
stream.
here.
I'm gonna end the stream. I'm hungry and I gotta pee. Bye. I love you.
See y'all.
Toodles.